What is going on, gamers, and welcome back to another Overwatch gameplay video. Hey, in this video I'm going to be talking specifically about the solo queue experience in Overwatch when you are playing in the competitive playlist. So when you're trying to rank up, get your SR up. So I've had a lot of different experiences playing solo queue in Overwatch. So I'll give you a little bit of my advice on what it looks like, whether or not you ought to do it, and if it'll pay off. So can you do it? Should you do it? But bottom line is, it's a bit of a crapshoot. So I've had a very different experiences depending on the day. You know, I've had the last time I did it before last night. The time before that I had solo queued in Overwatch competitive, I lost. I think it was like 4 out of 6 games, and I was like, this is not working. So I stopped. But last night, very different experience. Solo queuing into competitive, and for the most part played really well. I think ended the night 8-2. So out of 10 matches, winning 8 solo queue, hey, I count that as a win. SR went up, so that was in my opinion, that was a good night. So it's a bit of a crapshoot. What's that look like? If you do it, what should you expect? And should you be partying up with people, doing game chat, that sort of stuff? Well, I'll give you some of my experiences and let you kind of make up your own mind about whether or not it's something that you want to do. So last night I had 2 very different team experiences. So one team, for example, very different. Basically, we had a steamroll game. We were on offense with payload. Completely dominated. I had 3 gold medals, obviously as Roadhog, because, you know, it's Roadhog. Anyways, so we steamrolled it, had no problems winning that match. We won it, I think, 3-1. So it was a very easy match. So we did the stay as a team thing, right? We grouped up. And then I figured, hey, if we steamrolled without having any communication, hey, we'll probably do pretty well if we stay together and get in the same party together. So, so we assemble as a team. We get into party chat, and of course, it's like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get. So with these people, it was a very interesting experience, to say the least. Very eye-opening. So. We get in there, and there's no team communication for the first match that we play as an actual team. No communication whatsoever about the game. There's plenty of other talk. So there's one guy starts out the conversation. He's like, does any of you guys know what it feels like to be pepper sprayed? I'm like, no, not something I have a lot of experience in. And he's like, you know, I'm just trying to figure out. I've heard different things. I've heard from some people it's like a real burning sensation in your eyes. And I'm over here like, well, no crap. I didn't know there were like different schools of thought on what it felt like to be pepper sprayed. I just thought it was universally accepted that it feels like Satan's cat is trying to claw your eyeballs out. I didn't know there were differences in opinion. So he's like, yeah, so I'm going to be getting pepper sprayed. I can't wait. We got my buddy's got a camera coming in. And we're just going to start making stupid YouTube videos like that, you know? And it's going to be great. It's like, So this whole time we're getting completely stomped on as we're having a conversation about pepper spray. And of course that leads into a different conversation. And another guy in the fire team is like, yeah, man, I was thinking what I want to do is Resident Evil, you know, came out. I'm thinking I'm going to do a playthrough on acid and post it to YouTube. People love that stuff. Do you think I could get in trouble for doing, you know, tripping on acid on YouTube? I'm over here like, I said I wouldn't advise it. I kid you not. He goes, this was his response. I swear to Bob, he goes, I got a reputation to uphold. They don't call me the red-eyed gamer for nothing. And I'm like, I had to mute myself because I was laughing so hard. This whole time we got completely steamrolled. The team just completely, it was on Numbani, plowed through us all the way through that match. Got the payload all the way to the end. And at the end they're like, hey, we ought to try and make a push here. We ought to do something. I'm like, no crap. They got 10 yards to go before the payload's there. But it was interesting. We lost. So I opted out of another game. I went and got myself a cold one. Actually, this one. Anyways, got myself a cold one. Came back and re-queued up solo. And sure enough, it was a full game of randoms. and we had a wonderful match. We played exceptionally well together. The team composition was great. We had 3 tanks, 2 healers, one was an Ana, one was a Mercy, and then 1 soldier. So the soldier was fantastic. Our Ana was phenomenal, super on point with the heals, very clutch. Was sleeping tanks, sleeping people who were mid-ult, and no one shot the sleepers, right? It was like, hey, this is working. So sure enough, at the end of that match, we partied up together. We opted in to stay together as a team, and but this time, no party invites were sent out. Nobody grouped up in a party chat. No one was talking in game chat. It was quiet. We were just together, and we went on to win 4 matches straight. And shout out to those guys. I forget your names off the top of my head, but maybe I'll put it in the description when I go back and relook at the footage. Some of the gameplay that you're looking at right now is, well, all the gameplay you're looking at right now is from last night. These are the people and the games I'm talking about. So, yeah, so two very, very different experiences. Solo queue is like that. It's like a box of chocolates. Never know what you're going to get. It's a bit of a crapshoot. You're kind of playing the lottery. You can have a great experience. You can have a terrible experience. So, one of the things that you kind of have to gauge is when you solo queue and you win, you have to ask yourself, was this team really honestly good enough that we should stay together as a team? Because here's the thing, if you opt in to stay together as a team and it was just a mediocre team, the problem that you could run into is that now you're going to start queuing up against other full teams. So your opposition is probably going to get tougher. So you have to gauge, well, was this team good enough, honestly good enough, that we can take on some much stiffer competition? So one of the teams last night was probably not worth opting into. We played really well together, but as it turns out, when we queue up against another full team, we didn't really have what it took in terms of our team comp and communication. The other team, on the other hand, that I grouped up with played exceptionally well together. Team comp was good, communication was good, with just the communication wheel, with things like, I need healing, thank you, my ultimate is charging. Great, my Zarya actually teamed up with the D.Va to drop their ults simultaneously because they were communicating. So that team, it worked. It definitely worked. So you have to gauge that before you just jump in and just say, hey, we won, we may as well group up together. It's not always that simple. It's not that cut and dry. So you kind of have to gauge that. The other thing is you may have to deal with a little bit of criticism. So you have to have a bit of thick skin. I had one game where I was playing as D.Va. I ended up with 3 gold medals, and we lost the game, and it was a really close game. We lose it. I get a message afterwards, voice message, and the guy is like, what were you doing? You were the reason we lost, and just going off. And I'm over here like, dude, I was timing my ults. I got 3 gold medals over here, and I don't see you anywhere on the leaderboards. It's like, you just kind of roll with it. Don't even bother. Just let it slide. So you may have to deal with a little bit of criticism. Sometimes it might be valid, and you have to understand that too. Sometimes you're going to be playing with people when you solo queue. You're going to be playing with people who are actually better than you. I know that happens to me a lot. I'm still learning some of the ropes when it comes to Overwatch competitive. So sometimes I get messages afterwards where they're actually not mean about it, but they're offering fair criticism. And criticism, you can't be reactionary to it all the time. You have to sort of consider, is there some validity here? Because it can actually be a growing experience for you. So that's my experience with solo queuing. I don't know what your experience is like. Feel free in the comments section just to let me know what your experience when you solo queue has been like, and whether or not you would advise it. Maybe just to validate your opinion, say what your rank is, or where you fall, and say, well, I gotta tell you, for example, you could say, I gotta tell you, when I was in Platinum, solo queuing was easy and we ranked up pretty quickly, but now that I'm in Masters, it's really, really tough to solo queue and win because you really need good team communication. That's a very valid opinion, but just kind of say where you're at and what your experience is like. So thank you so much for stopping by the video. I hope that you enjoyed it and the thoughts and the gameplay, and hopefully I will catch you in Oversmash, which is right here up on my screen, but you can't see that. See ya!